Hello and welcome to the 120th episode of Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Our guest today is Tracy Costa of Taunton, Massachusetts, who is going to discuss canine nosework.
That's right.
Welcome, Tracy.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
This is a new sport, at least from my perspective. Could you explain it?
Sure, it's a new sport for you, for sure.
Yes.
It's been around in this area of Massachusetts, I want to say, since 2009. I became involved with it April 1st, 2010. So the fact that I can remember that date just tells you how special it was and is to me. Nosework started in Southern California in 2006. And it's a sport that a lot of people are hearing about and want to get involved in because I call it easy lifting. There's really not much money involved until you really advance in the sport, and you don't need a lot of equipment.
And families of all ages can enjoy it.
That is right. So canine nosework is open to any breed of dog, and the activity of it. There's an activity and a sport. So it's open to any age people, any type of dog is more than welcome to participate.
And any breed.
And any breed.
Including mixed breeds.
Including mixed breeds, exactly.
And what is the organization you belong to?
So I belong to the National Association of Canine Scent Work. They are the founding fathers of nosework, or what I call canine nosework, and everybody else copies them because they were really the first for this sport. And honestly, I'm so grateful that the founders brought it out to the masses, which is wonderful. And the three founders, Ron Gaunt, who's no longer with us, Jill Marie O'Brien, and Amy Hero, they were the three who sat down and put together the entire activity. They had a core group of students, and they actually started with some volunteers who worked at a shelter and got some of the first classes going out in Southern California.
And how did you get involved?
I read an article in the Whole Dog Journal in 2009, and at the time I belonged to a dog training facility in Taunton, and they had been asking about, Jojo, wait, they were asking for ideas for new classes, and I had read the article and I said, you have to get this here at this facility. And the reason I was interested in it was, at the time, my young Westie, who's no longer with me, she was, bratty like any terrier. And she needed a job because she couldn't go out and kill a rat a day. And I couldn't provide that for her. And the enrichment activity of sniffing and finding and hunting it's right up a terrier's alley. So I thought, this sounds like something that I'm so interested in. Let's look into this more. And that's how how I started my journey. And we always call it a journey with canine nosework, because once you get, it's like the mafia. Once you get involved, you never leave it. It's that
And now you are a trainer.
Now I am a trainer. I'm also a certifying official for the NACSW. So that means I go out and I place the hides for people to find with their dogs at trial. So there's the trial end, and so I have trialed in all sorts of, Josie, wait, in all sorts of interesting places. I've gone to ball stadiums, I've been to the Trolley Museum, I've gone in colleges. So we need these cool locations so that we can make the trials as lifelike as possible. And we go in with our dogs, we don't know where the hides are, and we have so much time to find them and do it accurately and correctly. And that is the sport. So it's a lot like drug detection. You don't know where the drugs are until the dog tells you where they are. Wait.
And your students are?
I have.
From all walks of life.
That is correct. I have students from a lot of retired people, young people, people with kids, people without kids, people who really wanted to give their dogs an activity. And at the lower levels, it is great. It's a low stress activity for dogs. By saying that, I mean they don't have to jump over hurdles, or there's really no big injuries that could potentially occur for dogs doing canine nose work. You know, like agility really takes that out of them, some of the agility things that they have to do. So the nose
So
work
this is
low impact.
stress-free.
Well,
Relatively stress-free.
mentally, no, when you start competing. But for the dogs, it's a low-impact sport when they first start out. But as you advance further and further with the complexity of the sport, they do need stamina in order to search. So.
Do you get to travel around?
I do. I have traveled a bunch of different places with my dogs, doing trials, going to trials with my dogs. So locally, I'll probably go as far as 6 hours to try and trial. I know people who go a lot further. I'll
Very
probably go further.
interesting.
Yeah.
Talk about your dog.
So this is Josie, and Josie has an Elite 2 title, which is fairly advanced for a small dog, and she is going to be 5 in April. And we've been doing nose work since I got her. So at 12 weeks, we started her at 12 weeks on just finding food in a box. And I really took my time before introducing scent. So she is
How
a West
does one
Highland White
start?
Terrier. Well, first it's really important to find a good instructor who knows what they're doing. There's a lot of wait trying to get into classes with instructors. There's a long wait list. Having a dog is important, and having really good food is really important too. And you have boxes, and you start introducing dogs to open boxes and finding food in an open box, and you increase the complexity of how many boxes they find with the food in it, and then you start bringing it outside and indoors in different locations. Our dogs end up searching vehicles without boxes. So it probably takes anywhere from 6 months to a year to train a dog to find and give the dog permission to hunt for odor. And before we introduce the odor and all of that too. So
Now there
takes a
are
while.
3, if I am correct, 3 main odors.
With the NACSW, there are 3 target odors.
3 target odors.
Yep, we call it target odors, and that's birch, anise, and clove are the 3 target odors. And I know the AKC has more than that. I think myrrh is one, cypress is another for the AKC.
Okay.
All right. And so Josie's mother is also titled in canine nosework. So one of the reasons I was interested in Josie's litter was because I knew the mother, and she did canine nosework. So I knew how she worked. And when she had a litter of puppies, I was really excited to get a puppy from that litter. And Westies are my breed.
And they are fabulous
They
dogs.
are a fabulous dog. So my old dog, Maisie, who made it to 15 and a half, she was the first West Highland White Terrier to earn the Elite Champion. She also earned, she was one of the only dogs at first doing canine nose work. I had a counterpart on the West Coast who was also doing canine nose work. Maisie outlived his dog. And so she was the first dog to earn an NW1, an NW3, all the elite titles up to elite champion. So right now she's the only elite champion still. There's no other elite champion Westie. There's oodles and oodles of shepherds, golden retrievers, labs, but very few Westies.
And you teach?
And I do teach, so my job is I'm a canine nose work instructor, And I have all sorts of dogs under me that have come to me. I have about 50 steady clients that train with me. Some don't compete and some do. So there's competition is really big. And again, competition isn't for every dog team. Not all dogs do well in tight environments, but the activity itself is great for them and something they can do comfortably at home and where they feel safe.
Is one breed preferable over another?
Well, that's a loaded question. So what kind of dog do you see professional handlers use for scent work?
I don't know because
You don't-
I don't,
you ne- you
I
never
don't
see a
observe them.
Well, lots of Labradors. People love to use Labs. I mean, they were born to sniff. German Shepherds born to sniff. The herding breeds are wonderful at this game. So there's, like I said, there's oodles of Labs that play the sport. And up in the upper echelons of things, they really outnumber the rest of the dog breeds
I'm
at the top.
interested, as a terrier person, I'm interested in how well a terrier does.
Well, the good thing about a terrier is they were born to hunt.
Of
Right?
course.
So what goes against a terrier is what they were born to hunt for. And I tell people all the time, there are mice everywhere. You just don't know it until you send a dog in who's pre-programmed to tell you about all sorts of things. And one of the things she can't help but tell me about is when there is vermin in the building. And we may be working odor, and I'll call it going off the grid. She might just for a moment check out and check the floorboards and say, oh, did you know, by the way, there were mice in here? And I'll say, all right, get back to work. Thanks for letting me know. And she's like, okay. And she'll go back to work again. So having a terrier presents its own special challenges because you can take the terrier out, but you can't take the vermin out of where the terriers go. It's always there.
Tell my cat about it.
Right. So that is one of the challenges of having a terrier. The other challenge is having a short dog. So when you have really high hides, you could have a 10, 12, 15, 20-foot hide. They just have to go out a lot further and work a lot harder than the big dogs to get that hide. But they can, it just takes a little longer.
You brought some activities.
I did. So I brought an odor kit to show you.
Sure.
And I also brought we can also demo what Josie does. So I like to give any dog I work with clear indicators of what we're about to do. So Josie has what I call a searching suit, and it's a special harness that allows her to pull because I want her pulling me to odor. That's her job. And I have a special leash, and she has a search cue, so when we put it all together, she knows exactly why we're there. So as your dog advances, I don't have to tell her to search anymore. The moment I put it on, she knows the game is afoot and she's ready to play. So what would you like to see first?
You tell me.
Well, I'll grab, here, Sarah, you want to show me this? So this is my whole odor kit. You wait right here. My whole odor kit, and I'll show you. Because I'm an instructor, I get to carry around this big thing with a whole bunch of different stuff in it. Most people don't need this much stuff. And good girl, you wait right there. I wanted you to smell our target odors. So this is birch. And that is a bunch of Q-tips scented with birch oil. It's
Very
our most
good.
delicate one.
Very delicate.
And this is anise. And you guys can't smell that on TV. It smells really nice. Wait. So picture good girly Josie. Josie's like, are we going to play now? Wait right there. And this is clove. Uh-oh. And that is clove. Good job, Jay.
Oh, I can see,
You can-
smell that.
You can smell that. So, but imagine, would you be able to smell any of these 3 Q-tips in a metal tin hidden somewhere in the environment? So this is what we'll typically put out. for dogs to find. And you can see there's just 3, I put 4 in that one. There's 4 Q-tip swabs, and the dogs are trained to find that. We don't want them eating the Q-tips, so that's why they're enclosed in a container. It has happened before. And sometimes we'll just put out little heat shrink tubes with the odor in it as well, because we can bend it and put it into tight places. So the whole point when we trial, we don't know where the hides are and we can't visually see them. And we have to read the dog and be able to read the dog and understand when the dog has found odor. And the dog has to communicate it to us in some way, shape, or form. We like to do fun things like this too. So this one's a red one, which you won't see at trial, but it shows up nice on TV.
And there is a scent in there.
There is already a scent in this one as well too. So if I were to step out of the room, I could have my daughter put some containers out, or she could take a tin and put it somewhere, and Josie would have to find it and alert. I know Josie already knows. So part of...
she's already animated.
Yeah, she's like, are we gonna do anything here? And part of the reward for the dog is they get to hunt and they get a reward. So unlike a lot of other sports, you can use food to reward them or toys. And they get a nice tug, or they get their food, their special food. And then they get
Do you give them special food?
Josie has had just about everything for treats, for rewards. So I give her sausage, she has meatballs, she's had pork. Right now I have a stinky sausage, it's all I can smell. And she's really interested in that, which is why she's checking my bag.
So the next step for you is what?
The next step for
Are you going to put
would you like
something
to?
out?
Sure. Sarah, do you want to put something out? And what I'll do is I'll step over to the side. Do you think you have enough room, Sarah? You may only be able to put out a few of those containers. Okay, so you put the hot one out first. So we call it the hot one because that's the one that contains odor. So I'll turn my back. I won't know where it is. How's that? Go ahead, Sarah. And I'll get Josie dressed. Just do one, hon.
Just one?
Yep. And then you can put a couple of blanks. So I'm getting Josie dressed right now in her searching suit, which matches you, Brian, because it's purple.
So she wears, and for this exercise, she will be wearing a certain special suit.
She does. She wears a special harness, that
harness.
allows her to pull, and you can see she's already leaning into it. She might go find the other ones that are over there off camera. So are you ready, Sarah? Okay. Ready? Find it. That one? Nope, it is not. Oh, I called it too soon. I made a mistake. Right there. Good job. So they're super close together. Thank you, Josie. It's this one right here, correct? Good job. So she gave me a false alert on the wrong one. Did you see that?
So she found...
She told me about this one, but that was blank. And
was
then
a blank. That's an active one.
That is an active one. So if you pick it up, I'll back up. Come here, Joe. You'll see and open it up. Just pull the yellow lid, just pull the yellow up. And you'll see there's Q-tips taped into the top of the lid.
Yes, there they are.
And there they are. So these were awfully close together. And you see her alert is a sit, and sometimes she'll paw at an object. And look, now that it's gone, she won't tell me anything.
So
good job, Dad.
That is a false alert there.
Yeah, you just saw a false alert. Good. We'll send her back in one more time. Good.
And she got a treat.
She got
what
her
did you
treat.
give her for a treat?
She got a little meatball. There she goes. So she'll sit, but she doesn't have enough room to sit, which is why she's probably backing up. That first container's too close. God, find it, Jake.
Hello, Josie.
Good job, Jay, right there. Nicely done. Good girlie. All right, I'm going to back up. Sarah, you can pull those out of there so we can sit back down. Good job. Nice. And so
Thank you, Sarah.
once we're all done, then I just take her searching suit off, and she's good to be a regular dog again. Come here, pal. Okay. Come on, Jay. Good job. Good.
And you got a treat, Josie.
Good job. She did. She got her treat, and there we go. She'll get a couple extras. So with the NACSW, we have what we call 4 elements the dog has to be proficient at in a day. And those elements are containers, something like you just saw right there. Interiors, so we could have something hidden in here and she would have to find it. Exteriors, which anything outside, and then vehicles. So we would have multiple vehicles that a dog would search on the outside. And in order to pass, you have to have 100. So the lower levels, levels 1 and 2, you need a perfect day. By the time you get to level 3, they'll let you have what they call a leg, and you can pass like 3 of the elements and have 1 mistake, and you can put 2 legs together. But if you still get 100, you pass for the day and you earn your title. And once you get in the upper levels, like the elite, which is what Josie and I are at, it's all point acquisition. So you need to have so many points in order to carry forward to each trial. So to get your elite champion, you need 1,000 points.
So it's very complicated.
It can be complicated. It's the best part about it, though, it's competitive with yourself. So you see, I would have failed today because I called a false alert on the wrong container. I wouldn't have passed my container search because I said, oh, that's the wrong one. But she doesn't typically put her paw up, and I should have known better. But they were, well, we'll say they were kind of close. So, that was hard. Good job, Josie. And so next for us, hopefully we get into a trial that's going to be in Foxborough, Massachusetts. We're hoping to get into that locally. Yep, because everyone likes something nearby, right? Who wants to travel 5 or 6 hours when you don't have to?
Now you said interior and exterior.
Mm-hmm.
Do you participate in activities like in this building? A similar building?
We've done it in high schools and colleges. We've held trials in there. Sure, we would use classrooms.
So can you go outside and do it?
Oh yes, yeah. Well, again, in order to have a trial, we have to have access to an exterior location that the rest of the competitors can't see. So maybe something behind the building. An interior garden that happens to be in a courtyard is another good spot to be able to search. Yeah, and we've used a lot of schools. We actually used Bristol Aggie. You think Case would let us come here?
I'm sure they would. I am very sure they would.
I want to ask them. It's a nice school, as I was looking around on the way in. So we've searched hallways. The trial host will really try to work with a school who gives us a good rental rate, and they make a little money, and we have some really nice people who bring their dogs through and compete. It's an all-day thing, too, for the competition part of it.
My question was, so you, with your dog, can be here inside a building,
mm-hmm.
but do you have to go outside to compete?
Yes. So okay, I didn't think I understood that part. When I am a competitor,
yeah,
I am working my dog from my car. So that means she's resting in the vehicle. It's only one dog at a time. And depending on which element is being worked is the element I'll go to next. So you can't do them back to back to back and then leave for the day. you have to run all the competitors through each element. So they assign a number. I could be dog 15 or I could be dog 30. And when it's my turn, I'll get Josie out of the car. I go potty her, and then we'll say it's exteriors. I'll go search exteriors, and then unless there's another element directly after, I go right back to my car with her, and then wait to complete the rest of the elements. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're working in the car, and then outside of this building, and
Correct.
then in the building.
And then in the building. So we would use, inside of the building, we'd have a place all set up to put containers. So we would have a big container search, like say in the gymnasium. We could have a container search in the gymnasium. So when it's my turn to do containers, I'd take her from the car, I'd come in, and I would go search the containers, and then exit and go back to my car. And it's very quick and automated. You're not standing around waiting and waiting and waiting in line, because we don't want that, because as a dog-friendly sport, dogs really don't enjoy standing in line and staring at each other while they're waiting to go have their turn to do something they really love. So we work one dog at a time.
Very interesting.
Yes, which makes it friendly for the dogs too. A lot less stress. But they have to be able to navigate the parking lot where all the dogs are that might be barking. And you don't keep your dogs out of your car. So in that regard, when you have what they call reactive dogs, it is a friendly sport toward reactive dogs who might not like other dogs, but they have to be able to deal with seeing those other dogs, but they don't have to interact with them, unlike show, right? Like if she were a show dog, she'd have to be inches within another dog, and she doesn't have to be. And the best part about the sport is it exercises the brain. So think of calculus. So a little nose work is like calculus for dogs. And if you do enough of it, mentally they're tired, and then they'll go and rest. Like you're sitting behind a desk all day on a computer, you're still tired even though you haven't really lifted anything heavy. Your brain is tired. And that's what will happen with a lot of dogs. So it's that piece of enrichment that I really like, which is what started me in nose work to begin with. I wanted a tired dog.
You have many clients. Do you call them clients? Or?
Yeah. Yes, they're my clients, but I call them students because they're
students,
they're
like I do.
Right. They're students of the sport. They're students of their dog. And that, I think that's why so many people love nose work, because it allows you to step into the dog's world. You become part of the dog's world. And
you bond with the dog.
Absolutely. And
that's important, isn't it?
You know, dogs go around their whole life reading us, and it's about time the shoe's on the other foot, and we have to read the dog. We
are being told we're almost ready to wrap up. How can someone learn more about this?
You can go online and check out k9nosework.com. That is our educational end of it, and so it's the letter K, 9, number 9, nosework.com, or the nacsw.net, and that has all the information out there as well too.
Thank you very much for coming. It's been fascinating. I've got to go out there and see you in action.
Oh, you'll have to see me in action. It'll be better than
Avis
this.
has told me so much about you.
She's
and I
great.
said, oh yeah, we've got to go. I'm going to make sure that we go out there, and I would love to see a demonstration.
Her dogs are lovely. She's doing a nice job. So speaking of anybody at any age who can do nose work.
And she's a remarkable person.
She really is. She really is.
Well, thank you very much for
So
coming.
nice meeting you.
It was my pleasure. We'll
Thank
have
you.
to have you come again.
I would love to come back again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you once again for watching Fur, Fins, and Feathers.